Hey guys, in this video, we're going to jump into the one of the latest changes and updates that have come from OpenAI, and that is Codex, their up-to-date coding copilot, their agent that's going to be functioning and working with you to help you do, well, coding more effectively. And in this, we're going to go through and look at some examples, look at the documentation a little bit, and see some of the insights that we can gather out of these latest changes and updates that have occurred. I do want to jump into this though and say that if you haven't liked, followed, shared already, please do so. You taking a moment to do just that is amazing, and also lets me know that you guys enjoy this content and that I know I should even start making it on top of the existing stuff that we do, where we do like the deep dives and like actually how to use something like this in a business use case or to apply it to your system or your process, etc. So the reason we're even looking at Codex, and while it's unfortunate that it's currently only for the most expensive plans, eventually we'll be going to the plus users. But the benefit of us looking at this and looking at some of the results that people have seen with this so far is really taking a dive into it and looking at it as a comparable model to what other systems that are out there. Again, I know OpenAI's recently gone through the process of buying Windsurf, which is a development platform, which my team and I use all the time, and it is super helpful in building out stuff when you're not just doing something through a no-code ecosystem, right? It does an amazing job of helping us to build interfaces and drag and drop modules and putting things together in a way that you just can't do as easily through no code, right? And so looking at this, really a lot of the stuff that they're looking to do is having some type of software engineering agent that actually can work with us and help us perform tasks at the same time, which is amazing. But it's really super cool. And with this main piece, this is sort of what they're saying, right? I mean, in the Codex through the chat bar of ChatGPT, we can access it by clicking the code module, and you sort of get a preview here of it being able to jump in and do some of this stuff. Now, to me, again, I've not had a chance to use this. I do not feel like paying the $200 a month for the Pro plan. I spend enough money through their API, but I'm really going to be curious to see how this does against something like Windsurf, about against Bolt.new, Bolt.doy, Claude, because Claude actually does a really good job, as well as the latest stuff that's also happened in Google, where they've basically been crushing the code space and really owning most of the space there, it seems, in the world of AI with all of their latest updates. But with this, and what I think is going to be a very unique and interesting aspect of this is they are truly embedding agents. It looks like more and more, and as you see here, right, the quality of the output has measurably improved, and the efficiency of that has been better, right? Benchmark samples that were not runnable, blah 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 blah. This is its ability to reason effectively. And here's the comparable to what we're currently seeing. So we have like O1 high, O4 mini, which is what most of us are using. Then we have that 3.0 high, so marginally larger. And then we have Codex. So Codex ability to handle software engineering tasks. So we do see a decent improvement there from 67 to 75. Again, I'm really curious as to seeing what does it mean? Like, what is the quality of the code? How is it actually being structured? Is it looking at things in the way that an actual software engineer would, or does it do how a lot of the coding tools do, where it breaks it into hundreds of little files, or goes the opposite end where it just dumps everything into one massive file? That is just not the right way of doing development, right? You need to break things out, modularize it, and make it so you can call these things. So again, I'm really curious to seeing what this is like. What's interesting is they do plan on trying to have this better connect here, right? Like being able to, instead of updating the entire code block, going through and actually understanding and updating individual sections. I bring this up because this is one thing that we consistently see, that if you're trying to do a quote unquote vibe coding sesh, or using Claude or OpenAI, when you're talking to it, it's more and more has had instances where it will hallucinate or just provide the straight up wrong answers. Or even worse, it goes and continues to overwrite stuff. And so this is an instance here where it identifies what it should have, that it was an error, and then it comes in and then updates it with the correct input, right? Comparatively, maybe to their current example where it's a little bit more difficult for the previous models to go in and do so as effectively. At least that's what I'm understanding as we go through this. Of course, we're talking about preventing abuse, keeping it secure, and all that lovely stuff. I'm really curious about the use cases that teams are going to use. So what I jumped over here is I jumped over to Twitter here briefly to try to look at stuff. And this is one of the things that was interesting that came out to me was, when running the task, the agent runs automatic tests after making the changes. So comparatively to what's currently occurring is we're putting it in, we see it break, and then we go, hey, it broke. You want to help me fix that? In short, right? It is going, oh, that didn't work. Let me go through and iteratively try to fix that, right? Which again, to me, really aligns to something like bolt.new and bolt.diy or Lovable. And yeah, some of these existing platforms I think are doing this really well. Windsurf, but I'm really curious to seeing how this actually functions when it's a native OpenAI agent functioning and firing through this. And then we're also able to we're also going to be able to review the suggestions and see the different outputs or recommendations that it's got. I mean, that's pretty straightforward. It's stuff that we've already done. This is what, again, I'm really curious to see, and I would love to know your guys' thoughts. If any of you guys have the Team or Pro accounts to see what this quality is actually like. But models being trained on actually good quality code and what that looks like. Again, most of you might know if you have played with this at all, it's not generally good code. It does its thing, but it definitely, if you talk to someone or know what quality code is going to look like, it doesn't always really give the best. But it does make stuff work, and makes stuff work really fast, and the amount of speed that we're getting out of things compared to 2 years ago is insane. So I'll take a caveat. A pro and a con there. Again, with it, it's saying Codex, this is the clarification I was meaning to say. Codex 1 is definitely showing strong performance even without the agent's function, right, or the injection, or the custom scaffolding. And it's consistently been outperforming existing models on the software development or software engineering tasks, which is great because that means once they've optimized and start to improve the agents that are using the model, we should hopefully expect an even greater improvement in this. Now, again, I'm saying all of this to say, how is this important to you? Well, what hopefully should occur here very soon with the rapid increase of all of this is it gives you the ability to start mapping out your ideas and a potential addition to your business, or to elevate and speed up what you're doing currently. Maybe you need to create an internal tool for your team and you want to be able to quickly put something together instead of hiring a development team that's going to charge you $10K to build it, right? I'm not saying that their version's not going to be just substantially better, but I'm saying at least you should be able to build something, a quality version 1 with little to no development knowledge, surprisingly nowadays. And you can actually get something that works. I'm not saying it's secure. I'm not saying it's safe. I'm not saying it's the best option, but I'm saying that it will work as long as you understand what it is you're trying to do. And that's what's really cool, because it does give you agency to take action and work on improving and iterating or creating an MVP for your business really quickly, or refining a current process and giving you an opportunity to move forward a little bit faster. And then hopefully you've gotten business and then you want to start using like automations to streamline that process, right? So if it was me, I would definitely take some time to look at this. Look, it's a little pricey, but it's also not terrible. At the same time, I'm really curious to see the quality of this as people start testing it and using it and seeing what the actual outputs are. Again, for me personally, I've always used OpenAI as a foundational side for getting structures and outlines and like formats, and then I'll use other agents like Google or Claude to actually do the actual coding or iteration on code. As I found that using OpenAI for a lot of structural stuff and then moving into the other ones and them doing the actual work does seem to provide me better outputs. So again, really love to know your guys' thoughts. If you guys have touched any of these tools, try to build any platforms or little micro tools for yourself. And if you are spending the big bucks, paying the $200 a month to get access to the Pro, I'd love to know what your thoughts are after playing around with the tool yourself to see how it actually works. Does it do a good job? Does it not do a good job? What does it do better at than maybe Claude or Google's Gemini 2.5? So on and so forth. All right, guys, that's really all I have today. I am going to drop the links here down below the video just so you have access to them. Other than that, I'll see you guys in another video. Talk to you guys very soon. Thanks. Bye.